Hello friends, in this session we are going to see the other use of this keyword, and in previous sessions we have seen already three use of this keyword, that you can use this keyword to refer the instance variables on current object. And another use we have seen this keyword you can use to call a method, and next we have seen this keyword you can use to call a constructor from another constructor of same class. So that three we have already seen, and here we are going to see another three use of this keyword. So in this first one is you can use this keyword to method call as an argument, means you can pass this keyword this as an argument in method call, right? And then again you can use another use is you can pass this keyword as an argument in constructor call, and you can pass this keyword again. You can return this keyword to return the current object from a method, right? So these are the other three use of this keyword, right? So from these three, first one and second one we have already discussed in the cloning section, right? In cloning section we have already discussed these two use, and again we'll discuss here this keyword, how you can pass that in a method as an argument, or you can pass that as an argument in constructor call also, right? So first one we're going to see here, that pass the method as a pass this keyword as a argument in method call. So I directly start with an example. Say we have here, we'll use, say this is the ID, and here I have some class like this. I have class some ABC class, and in ABC class I have some methods, say void show method, and show method takes an argument as ABC only, right? So this is ABC A, and you have some variables in this, say int x, and you have a string type variable, say MSG, right? And I'll take a constructor also to initialize these two, say int x and string type MSG, right? And here it is, this dot x is x and this dot MSG is MSG, right? So now I have one more method here, say suppose it is void show info is the method, and show info method is calling show method, okay, calling show method. And when show method calls show, show info method calls the show method, then actually show method needs an argument of type ABC. So here how you will call is, you can directly call here show, and you can pass here this means the current object which is calling show info, that show info only passing here as an argument to show info, sorry, from show info to show. And here it is going to print, say it has to print actually, say a dot x and plus one tab space, and it is a dot MSG, right? So this show info method is calling the show method by passing the argument as this, and this is actually here the current object, right? Current object. So now if it is a very simple example. So here if I take an ABC, A is say new ABC, and I give here 99, and this is say hi, right? Now if I call a dot show info, then inside the show info, this means it is A, right? Show info calls show function by passing this current object, means it is A, as an argument in this, and show method actually prints a dot x, and it is a dot MSG. So it is actually giving the output as 99 and high, right? So you see the output here, it is 99 and high. Or I'll write here some other SOP statements also. Actually say it is ABC int and string argumented constructor, and this is say show method is called show method in ABC, and I'm printing A also. Okay, here it is A in plus show, A in show method, and it is just A. And then inside the show info again I'm writing some SOP statements. So it is show info function in ABC, and here I am printing this also. So it is say this is this, right? And inside the main method, or here I am not going to print actually. If you want to print, you can call. So here what you are doing when you will say a.showInfo, this is showInfo method is called, and it prints showInfo in ABC, and it prints this means the current object value. Current object is actually here, it is A, the same value it has to print, right? If I print here A, then it has to print, if I print here A, so it is A in main method, and it gives here A. Okay, so this A value here, and at this point this value should be same. This should be same, and then by providing this, means it is A only, by providing this only you are saying here show, and it comes here show, right? It comes here show, and it prints show in ABC called, and A value is again the same A only, and it gives here say it is A value, and this value and this A should be same, right? And it prints A.x, that is 99, and A.msg, that is 88. Run it. It is this, right? Here it is A in inside the main method, this is A, and then it is printing the show info inside that this, and again show inside that A, and the value that is A in 99. But actually you can use it in this way. Say I'll take one more class here, say class A, or some class say x, y, z, and in these I have say int some I and string type MSG, creating a constructor to initialize this too. So it is int I and string type MSG, right? And this is initializing this dot I is I, and this dot MSG is MSG, right? Now I have a method here, say get void get object, get copy object. This is taking a copy object of XYZ type, and it is XYZ, right? And what it has to do is it has to create an object of type XYZ only, and that object content should be this one only, right? So this return type, I'll say here it is XYZ, and it has to create a new object, new, so this is XYZ, X is equal to new XYZ of I. Now I value should be actually it is this one XYZ, which is I am passing here as an argument. So I can say here it is XYZ dot I and XYZ dot MSG, right? And this has to be returned. So you can say here return X, right? Return X. Now assume this method I have declared as private, so that from outside you can nobody can call directly private. And here I am taking one more method, get say clone function, say it is clone, right? And clone function from outside is able to call directly, and so I'll declare that as public, right? So this is get clone object, I am saying as private, so that from outside nobody can call it directly. So here what I am doing, I am saying say it is clone function is available here, and from the clone function I will say get copy object, and the copy object, which object should be copied, it is current object, so I am giving here this. And when you will say get copy object, this copy object returns an object of type xyz, so I am writing here it is xyz, say x is equal to this. So x is equal to this. So when get copy object calls this function with this xyz object, xyz is actually nothing but current object, and it creates a new object with the content of this xyz object and returns that. So that returned object comes into this clone function, and here this is also going to be returned. So in this it is return x. So the return type of this should not be void, it should be xyz. Now if I do this operation here, and if I say it is so I'm drawing a line, and in this I'm saying xyz x1 is equal to new xyz with some value, say 101, and it is hello, right? Now x1 should be cloned, so x1 dot clone. When you will say x1 dot clone, so this x1 dot clone implementation I have given like this, and it is not verifying any other condition whether the object is clonable or not, because this I have designed. It is not the clone, it is not the concept of cloning. Okay, I'm not explaining here cloning concept. It is just how to use this keyword as an argument to call a method, right? So this returns another object x2 is equal to this, suppose, and I'm overriding toString function to print the content, so I'll override it this, right? And it should return here x plus 1 tab space plus msg should be returned, right? Now here if I print x1 and if I print x2, then both the output should be same, because it is a copy object actually, right? Now sorry, it is not x, it is I actually. Now run it. It is fine. It is two different objects, and you can verify that by using x1 equality x2, right? x1 equality x2. So this is a very simple program to show how you can pass this keyword as an argument to call a method, right? So this is the fourth use of this keyword to pass as an argument in a method. Next, we can use this keyword as an argument in a constructor also. Say I have a class student, class student, and it is this, and it has int sid, string type name, and string type email, and some long type phone, something like this, right? Long type phone, right? Or sid is something, or name, and it is not name, it is actually, say it is state, and this is some city, right? And this is pin code, so it is pin, right? Integer type pin. So now in this, so I have to take a constructor also to initialize this. Say student int sid, string type state, and string type city, and string type pin, right? Sorry, it should be a comma separation. So city and SID, right? And this is having like this. this dot sid is sid, and this dot name is name, and this dot, sorry, it is not name, this dot state is state, and this dot pin is pin. Right, now int, it should be int type, right? Okay, this is one constructor for a student, and say I am having a method to get a student object again, void get new student, and this is taking two argument, int sid and one student type object stud, right? This, and what this function has to do is, this function has to sorry, it should not be here, actually it should be this function is just having an sid and not a student argument, and just sid, and I am having here another student constructor, and this is taking an argument of type student, okay, stud, something like this, and this is going to initialize here, say this dot sid is stud dot sid, this dot state is stud dot state, and this dot city is stud dot city, and this dot pin is equal to stud dot pin, right? And it takes one more, say int sid also, right? Int sid also, and it is not stud sid, it is just sid, right? It is just sid. So it is this, right? Now I'll draw a line here, say this is drawing a line and creating one student object, student, say s1 is new student, and you have to give sid is 101, and state is Karnataka, and city is Bangalore, and pin code is 560032, right? So this is one student object created. And now that s1, when I'll say get new student object, I need to give just another student sid, and it has to return here another student s2, and this should use actually here get new student, when I'm telling it is just taking an sid object, sid argument, it is not taking the remaining values for this student 2. But what it has to do is, actually it has to use the s1 state, city and pin code for this student also, because it is same. So I'm calling here get new student, and which is taking just a sid as an argument, and it goes to this method here, and method returns actually and a student type of object. So this is student type object it has to take, and this has to create an object by calling, say return new student, by giving sid here as an argument, which is coming from the main method, and here this should be a this, right? This should be this. Now when you are calling this constructor new student, it is a two parameterized constructor. Only sid you are supplying from the main method, and this is taking the current object as an argument for the remaining part, and from the remaining part, state, city and pin we are assigning to current object, and the SID here we are initializing, which is supplied from the main method, right? So this is another object is created and it is returned. So here also I'll override the toString function, and it has to print the value. So it has to return, suppose return this, I'll not use, just SID plus one tab space plus state and plus another tab space plus city and plus another tab space plus pin code, right? This is two student created, right? Now in the main method, when I'll print S1 and I'll print S2, S1 I'm printing and printing S2 also. S2. Now in this S1 we have created by supplying all the values, and S2 when I'm creating S2 I have supplied, I am creating the S2 by using a new saying here get new student object by supplying only the SID, but the remaining state, city and pin code for this new student should take from the current object, that is from S1, right? Now you see here the output is this, two student object is created and only SID is different and remaining value remains same. So here we are using this keyword to call a constructor. It is a constructor call and we are calling constructor from here by using new keyword, and this is this as a argument in this function. So this is the another use of this keyword to call a constructor. Next, another use of this keyword is to return the current object. For example, when we don't want to allow, we have seen that in singleton design pattern, say I have a class hello is the class, and it has some members, so I'll take say I and j, right? Taking a hello constructor to initialize this to I and int j, right? Now in this dot I is I and this dot j is j, right? So this is the constructor, and in singleton pattern you have seen that the construct should be always private, and it should not be called from the outside. And when you want to get an object, you have to call actually a method. So here it is return type is say hello, and return type is hello, and the method is get instance method, right? Now what it has to do is it has to create an object and get instance method. Here I have to give some argument, say int x and I and int j, right? And or actually when it is a singleton pattern, it should not be this also, argument is also should not be there. So if you don't want this, that is also fine. Say then in that case you have to say just private hello of this, right? Constructor is declared as private, and it is saying here get instance. Private means from outside you cannot call directly, you have to call inside a class only. So in these say this has to return new hello, but if I do like this, it will not be a singleton pattern. So what I have to do is, again we have discussed that in singleton pattern, you can go through that video and you can watch it. So it is private hello type age is equal to null first time, right? And in this you have to say, you have to check the validation. If age is equal to null, then age should be initialized with new hello. It should be initialized with new hello, and it has to return age directly, right? So this is a singleton pattern. You have to say get instance, and this method actually should be public, right? Public. So this is a singleton pattern design. We have discussed that in more details, so I'm just writing here. And now in this, if I write, say this is hello, and this is age is equal to new hello, I cannot say because the constructor is declared as private. So what I have to do is actually this method also should be static, so that I can call it the class name directly here. So it should be hello and get instance. this gives an object, and say I'll say this is h1, and again this is hello h2 is equal to, again I'm saying say hello dot get instance. And if I compare here h1 equality h2, and it should be actually same, because get instance, this hello class is following a singleton pattern, so it should be okay, this also should be static, right? Okay, now actually it is the same object returning every time, and so it is true, and it is following the singleton design pattern. But if somebody tries to clone this object, here I have not overridden the clone function, so it cannot be cloned, but assume if somebody is trying to get a clone method, and if it is he will get an exception. So what I want is I'll override here the clone method, and when clone method is overriding, I'll not actually clone the object, and instead of that, what I'll do is I'll just return this right. Clone method is just returning this means the current object. So here if anybody is trying to clone this object, say hello h3 is equal to h1 dot clone. If anybody says clone, actually what the clone function is doing, when it is telling say clone, and I'll just remove this. So when it is saying clone, if anybody is telling here is it is clone, and he should not get an exception, even he should not get a new object also. What it has to do is it has to directly return the current object. So here I am saying return this, means on which object you are telling clone, the same object address should be returned. And here actually it is returning an object. Clone function return type is object type, so it is giving an error, and I'll typecast it to hello, right? Now if I again compare h3 and h1, right, h3 and h1, then this also gives the same true, means it is not cloned, right? It is same. So here we are returning this keyword as a return type, return. You can take a return, you can return this value from a method, right? So this is the sixth use of this keyword. So here I have discussed three use of this keyword. One is this keyword you are passing in a method call as an argument, and it is this one, right? You are calling the, or it is even this one also, you are passing and this as an argument in a method call. And next one we have discussed, you are passing this as an argument in a constructor call, right? In a constructor call, and it is this. The third one is you are using this keyword to return the current object address from a method. So this is the sixth use of, this is the three use of here this keyword. You can use this keyword in this many 6 ways. So thanks for watching my video. Please subscribe for more videos.